All right, today we're going to talk about a flower you've probably walked past 100 times without a second thought, but it holds this epic story of survival, a journey across continents, and a really unique partnership with us humans. Let's dive right in. So, meet our main character, the Philippine ground orchid. You've definitely seen its bright purple flowers around, maybe in a park or a garden, but behind that familiar face is the wild story of a quiet conqueror. And that really gets you thinking, right? What if this flower, which looks so delicate, is actually one of the toughest, most adaptable orchids on the entire planet? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Okay, first things first, let's get a proper introduction. We're going to dig into this plant's identity, from its common names all the way to the secrets that are hidden in its biology. So you might know it as the Philippine ground orchid. That's what most people call it, but to scientists, it's Spathoglottis Plicata. And that scientific name, it actually holds the very first clue to how this thing is so resilient. See that second word, plicata? It's just Latin for folded. And it's pointing directly to the orchid's huge pleated leaves. They look almost exactly like an elegant folded fan. That's a key feature, and it's been hiding in its name this whole time. So how does it do it? How is this one orchid so incredibly good at surviving? Well, the secrets are literally built right into its body. Think of this image as the orchid's blueprint. This classic botanical drawing breaks the whole plant down into its essential parts, and you'll see that every single one is a tool for survival. Let's start from the ground up. At the base, you find these crowded, bulb-like things called pseudobulbs. They're basically the orchid's personal canteen, storing up water and food to get it through any tough, dry spells. Super clever. And now for the main event, the flower itself. That really unique T-shaped petal, that's called the labellum, and it's not just there for looks. It's actually a perfectly designed landing pad for pollinators, making sure the next generation gets started. Speaking of the next generation, this is where the story gets absolutely incredible. This thing might look like a simple little pot, but it's the orchid seed capsule, and what's inside is the real secret to its world conquest. You're not going to believe this. When one of these capsules splits open, it unleashes thousands of seeds, and they are as fine as dust, literally engineered to just ride the wind for huge distances, colonizing totally new places. And that incredible strategy has clearly paid off. This orchid isn't just some local plant, it's a true world traveler with a native range that is just staggering. I mean, just look at this list. Its home turf stretches all the way from Japan and Taiwan, down through Southeast Asia, into Australia, and way out to remote Pacific islands like Tonga and Samoa. This plant was a globetrotter long before we were. So what's it looking for on all these travels? It's actually pretty simple: sun and water. It loves seasonally flooded grasslands and spots near streams, places that are just a little too damp for a lot of other plants to handle. But its natural journey is really only half the story, because of course, that unique mix of beauty and toughness eventually caught our eye, and that launched a partnership that would take this orchid even further across the globe. It all started way back in 1825, when a botanist first officially described it, but the real game changer was in 1932, with the first hybrid. Now fast forward to today, and we can basically clone it in a lab. We've gone from just looking at this orchid to actively shaping its entire future. And here's what that partnership looks like. On the left, you've got the classic wild purple flower. And on the right, a pure white version called Penang White, which was created by people. That's a direct result of our fascination with it. So that brings us to the final and maybe the most surprising chapter of this whole story. With all this human interaction and its global spread, what does that actually mean for the orchid's conservation status? The answer is not what you'd expect. Believe it or not, for a while there, people were genuinely worried. In Australia, this globe-trotting survivor was actually put on the list as a vulnerable species. It really seemed like even this super tough orchid might be in trouble. But then 2010 rolled around, and after taking another look, they took it off the vulnerable list. Turns out the experts had just underestimated it. The orchid was simply too common, too widespread, and way too resilient to be considered threatened. It's one of those rare conservation stories where the species, in a way, kind of saved itself. So, there you have it. An orchid that conquered the globe on its own, then partnered with us to reach even greater heights, and even managed to shrug off a vulnerable species listing. It really makes you wonder, what on earth could possibly be next for this incredible floral survivor?